find a nice easy seat. My clock disappeared. Oops, that's all right. Find an easy seat. Start to work into your breath. It can be anything. You can be sitting up in hero like I am, or if you prefer, you can sit in your crisscross applesauce. So maybe taking a look at our patterns of habit, and if you always sit in a cross-legged with the right leg in front, maybe just switch it out and try sitting in backwards and cross-legged today. We'll work into our breath first, find a little bit of opening here. So let's close the eyes, let the hands melt down onto the lap. And we'll use this time with our breath to generate a little bit of movement. So starting with a little bit of a neck roll. As you inhale, go ahead and bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And then as you exhale, let the head come forward and over to the other side. So making the movement and the breath last the entire time. Inhale to hold and stretch. Right ear, right shoulder. And then when you come to that exhale, just move across to the other side. And then just keep going with that pattern. So holding for the inhale and the stretch. And then on the exhale, finding that gentle movement. Rippling from one side to the other. Let's go ahead and find stillness with the neck. Create that nice big in-breath. Lift the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. So if it helps, you can open mouth, sigh it out, or you can just let your breath come in a way that's most comfortable to you. Taking about 3 more of these shoulder rolls. And just start to open up systematically throughout the body. All right, we got neck, we got shoulders. Let's bring our arms out in front of us. Place the palms up and out. So you're saying like stop here. And then go ahead and make a fist and pull those fists down towards the floor. So this is not a natural position, and it generally creates a little bit of tension, but you'll feel it right across to the tops of the arms, the forearms there. And then inhale, lift and open the hands. So we're going to exhale to round and make that fist, and then inhale to lift. So it's 2 movements in a way that we're not really used to moving. Just move through this. Feels a little bit weird. Nice. Last 3 here. And then holding up the arms is a big deal too, because that feels kind of weird. Last one. Now keeping that fist, take your right hand in your left, the fist, and just gently tug, creating that nice big stretch. So really getting that stretch all up the forearm there. Little dookies up there whining. Good. And then the other side. So creating that fist, again, pulling the knuckles down towards the floor, using your right hand to give just a little bit deeper of a stretch. So be careful that the arm doesn't bend out. You're going to kind of automatically try to do that. Beautiful. All right, go ahead and shake that out. Taking a nice easy twist to warm up through the spine. Stick your legs out in front of you. So just nice and long out in front. Flex the toes back towards your face. We're going to go to the right first. So bring your left hand to your right leg, right around the knee or the calf, and the right hand behind you. Look over the right shoulder. So use your back hand to lift up and over that back shoulder. So notice the breathing is much more shallow here. Keep turning that right shoulder or the head over the right shoulder. Flexing the feet. So it's an active pose here. Inhale to lift, exhale to find that twist. And then we're going to come back the other way. So coming back through center and then taking this twist to the other side. So right hand comes to the left leg. Usually for me, right about the crease of the knee is the best place. Left hand comes behind, look over the back shoulder. Looking over the back shoulder. Find that nice stretch through the spine the whole way down from base of the neck or base of the head all the way down to the base of the spine by the tailbone. And then back through center. So now we've moved in all kinds of different directions. We're just going to work into a nice long forward fold, but we're going to do baby steps. So walk your feet towards your body so that you have a slight bend in your knees. Your toes are up off the mat. Find a nice long spine. So inhale, lift the shoulders up and then hinge so that your body is resting right on your thighs. And then walk the feet far enough back so that you can grab onto the sides, the pinky toe sides of the feet. And then from here, you want to keep a flat back. So there's a tiny little curve in the lower back. The hips are up. And then you're just going to slowly start to slide your feet out in front of you. So you'll feel the upper back opening. It's a little bit of a back bend here. I'm going to pause here. You can look down towards your feet so that you don't have that crick in the neck or right between the knees. And then if you're super stretchy and have longer arms, you might get the feet straight or the legs straight and start to melt down, bending the elbows towards the legs and taking a gentle forward fold here. So gentle, we're not pulling. If your hands are having a hard time getting all the way to your feet, you can grab onto your ankles or your shins. And we're just going to keep drawing the nose towards the floor here. Length and fold. Length and fold. We're going to take about 3 rounds of breath here. So the longer you hold these poses, the more the muscles relax and you get deep into the joints. Let's go ahead and walk the hands back, bringing the feet towards the body onto the floor, bending the knees. Hands come behind you and then just peel the shoulders back so that you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. You can feel them squeezing together. And then drop the head behind you. Let the heart lift up. Open up the throat here. Beautiful. All right, let's keep working. We're going to come all the way down onto our backs, opening up into the hips before we put some weight on them. So bringing hands to the knees and creating those nice big hip circles, which actually feel really good because I did some intense cardio earlier this week. So this feels nice. And then back the other way. Using the hands to create these circles around. Nice. We're going to put this left foot on the mat. Reach the right leg up. You can use your hand to help guide you or not. It's up to you. I'm going to keep my hands on either side. And I'm going to start with a little pointing and flexing of the feet. Push the feet away. Spread the toes nice and wide. Pull the toes back. Push the heel out. Press and pull. So just creating a little teeny tiny movement in the ankle, taking some circles and then the other way. Nice. Okay, so we're going to find stillness and then kind of flowing to the toes, right? So it's in between a flex and a point. And then, so with your toe on the ceiling there, create a teeny tiny little circle counterclockwise. So super tiny, like you're tracing a dime on the ceiling. Now we're going to make this like a spiral. So we're going to get a little bit bigger. So now we're tracing maybe a tennis ball, keeping that left leg bent so that you don't wobble all over the place. We're going to keep getting bigger. So now we're tracing a basketball or bowling ball, whatever your sport of choice is. Now, this is where it gets tricky. The more we start to open up, so slowly creating a bigger circle here. And try to keep that left foot and left hip rooted into the mat as you create this bigger and bigger circle. And if you need to, you can use your hand. Got just about 3 more here. And then we're going to go in reverse. So keeping the same shape and size, stop when you get to 12 o'clock and then go back around the other way. So trying to go all the way around a big, big circle and then starting to make it a little bit smaller each time you go around. So it's just a tiny bit smaller. And then in about another 7 or 8 rounds, we'll get back to tracing that dime. Super tiny. I have to think about this. It takes so much concentration. All right, getting smaller. About 3 more. Now we're back to that basketball and the tennis ball. And then super tiny, tiny, tiny. And then just make those teeny tiny little circles clockwise. Hoo-wee, that was a lot. All right, go ahead and bend that right leg. Bring that knee in towards the heart. Give it a nice big hug and extend that left leg long just to stretch it out. Should feel nice. And kind of find some wiggles here maybe. Whatever feels super awesome. All right, your right foot is coming to the mat. We're going to do exactly that same thing up the left side. So first we lift the left leg up, point and flex, opening up the feet. Sometimes I feel like the mornings now it takes forever to get the feet moving. Sometimes stairs are a little tricky first thing in the morning. So pointing, spreading the toes, bring them back towards your face. And let's start making those teeny tiny little circles. So first we go counterclockwise. So just around a dime. Whole leg gets into this. So if you haven't already started moving the whole leg, just keep that circle from the hip joint. So the ankle and knee are still. Let's trace that tennis ball a couple times. And then that basketball. And if you notice that your hips are rocking around, you can bring your hands to your hips to help you steady them. Getting bigger and bigger. Moving slower and slower. Faster is not always better. I mean, unless you're in horse racing, that's definitely faster is better. 2 more big circles. A little bit of core work too. And then when you get to noon or 12, whatever your 12 is, go back the other way. All the way around. Ooh, different situation when you go back around. Nice. All the way around. Getting smaller, moving slower. Good, tiny, tiny. Teeny, tiny. Around that basketball, around that tennis ball. And coming back to that dime, little tiny. And then go ahead and pull that knee in, give it a nice big hug, extend that right leg long and enjoy that stretch. Maybe rock a little to the side. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and rock and roll. We're going to come to hands and knees. Whew, that took a little bit of doing. Coming to hands and knees. Finding your way back to the middle of your mat. Let's take a little side to side first. So bring your left hip to your left shoulder and then go over towards the right side. Look over the right shoulder, back to the left, and then to the right. So today we're more about stretching than building strength, but still pull the belly button a little bit gentlier towards, a little gentlier. So being gentle with it, but pulling the belly button towards the spine. So not as rigid as you would in a vinyasa class, but definitely noticing that the belly isn't dropping to the floor. All right, now walk those knees back slightly. Make sure they're at least hip width, and then push back into your child's pose, sitting back on the heels. Maybe bringing the elbows to the mat, the hands in prayer overhead, and settling between the legs. We're going to settle into this child's pose for about 5 rounds of breath. Let the ribs open up into the thighs. Settle down between the legs. I have 2 breaths left by my count. Open up across the backs of the shoulders. Now release the hands down in front of you, grip through the mat. We're going to come forward all the way down to the mat. So lowering in between the hands all the way down, and then releasing the toes. Let the legs be long down the mat behind you. Hands are right by your side. Inhale, lifting your head, heart, and shoulders, and take that nice big stretch through the front body. So it's also a back bend. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, up and back. Find that cobra. Exhale, lower. And then the last one more baby cobra. Maybe getting a nice big stretch this time. Maybe opening the heart and lifting the chin. And then using your arms to help you, maybe curl your toes under. Find your way back into that child's pose just for a breath. Finish out that exhale. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, lower the hips. So going between the back bend and the flexion now. Exhale, round and press. This is my absolute least favorite of every yoga move, is a back bend. But what we don't do is usually what we need to do, right? So just forgive yourself if you, oh, that's our word, right? Forgive. So just forgive yourself for maybe not being able to get all the way into a shape, moving back and forth through this shape. Lowering. Last time we're going to hang out in that child's pose. One last time, push the arms nice and wide in front of you, open up through the shoulders, lift the forearms off the mat, maybe coming up onto fingertips. That feels really nice. Whole back body is active here. And then wringing it out. So sliding that left hand underneath the right, coming onto that left shoulder, the left side of the face. Look under the right arm. And for the record, every time I look at my wall, my eyes land on a spider. So I'm just saying. Left hand comes back and scoop that right hand underneath.
They don't charge extra for the humor. As bad as it is.
All right, let's go ahead and reach those hands. Find your way back to that tabletop shape, just long enough to step that right foot outside the right hand and come to a nice low lunge. So I use a very squishy mat when I do this because I'm on a wood floor, but if you don't have a squishy surface underneath you, you can always double up the mat, like fold it over, or even use a blanket underneath you, especially for these kinds of poses where we're holding them for a while on our knees. So if you like, both hands on either side of the foot and pressing the hip down if you're really tight or tender here. If you want a little bit stronger of a practice, you're going to bring the knees or the hands right to the knees, or maybe even reaching the arms up overhead. So it's entirely up to what you need from this shape today. I'm going to keep my hands on either side of my foot here so I can really open up into the hip. So keep spinning that right hip forward, left hip back. Take about 3 breaths. So we're holding each pose about 3 to 5 breaths here this morning. Maybe sink a little deeper. And then let's go ahead and sit back. Peel the toes off the mat and then lean back into the left hip, left heel, and get a nice stretch. So a flat back over the right leg, toes come back towards your face. And then maybe as you start to warm up into this pose, you can walk your hands either out to the side or back a little bit as you melt down over the leg. But only if that feels good for you to open up that way. Let's walk forward. Keep that left hand on the mat and reach the right arm up. Open up with that twist, so that right knee is going to want to pop out. Keep drawing it back in. And then reach your right hand behind you just to open up that shoulder. Beautiful. Bring both hands down inside that left or right foot, curl the left toes under, and let's find our way to a wide-legged forward fold facing the long edge of the mat. So whichever way makes more sense to you, right? So for me, I spun towards the left. You can hang out here, hands right underneath the shoulders. This is a really nice stretch. Pull that belly up and in, push the tailbone back. This might be enough. If you have a little bit more to give, and you'll notice the right leg might have more to give than the left because we already stretched it, you're going to start to walk the hands down towards the mat. Maybe the head rests on the mat, maybe not. Keep pushing into the feet, lifting the tailbone high, and feel like you're really lifting up through the inner thighs here. So you can walk your feet a little bit closer if you need to, or a little bit further. And then let's find that flat back. And we're going to walk our way towards the left side. So once you get to the left side, the right heel spins up, the right knee comes down. We're on the other side. So whatever shape you did on the right, maybe the hands on the knee or on either side of that foot. Stretching feels so good and we do it so infrequently. Maybe rocking a little side to side. Off the mat. So sitting back and squaring off the hips. Flat back, fold, nose towards knee. Be careful not to hyperextend that left knee, so pull up on the quad there and engage your upper leg so that you can melt down a little bit deeper. And then rock forward. Right hand comes to the mat right next to that left foot. And then the left arm is going to reach up. Enjoy that twist. Oh, the bird's awake now. And then both hands come down to the mat. So a little tricky transition here. We're just going to walk this left foot forward so that we can sit down into our pretzel sit facing the top of the mat. So left shin across the top of the mat, foot is flexed, right foot behind us, foot also flexed. So that little Z sit, as they call it, or deer sit. I don't think I've ever seen a deer actually sit like this, but don't pay that much attention. And then, so using your hands to kind of lift you up into this shape, find a nice balanced seat. The right hip might not come to the mat, and that's okay. If you really feel like you want it to the mat, you can adjust that right leg to find a little bit more balance here. So lift up, push up, nice, and then turn over your left shoulder. Keep that right hip glued down, and then melt down onto the forearms over the left thigh. So now you're looking at the back of your mat, but your legs are facing the side, which is now the front. Three more rounds of breath here. Keep pushing that right hip down. Head is heavy. Nod, shake. Yes, no. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders so that you can lift back up. And then just to flush it out, bring both feet in front. Remember which one was back. And then just take a little windshield wiper here, a little side to side. And then right into the other side. Right foot comes forward, left foot goes back. Sitting down square-ish in between the hips. So again, if you have a shiny surface, take a look and see what's going on. See, I kind of found a little bit of a lean there. And then press that left hip down, walk the hands over the right thigh, and then melt down onto the mat here. So pressing palms together, maybe finding a twist. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. Relax your shoulders and take about 5 rounds of breath here. Using your hands to push yourself back up. This class may be early, but it definitely goes fast. Both feet come to the mat, and then we're going to rock a little side to side, or whatever feels good to you to kind of find movement here. So maybe a butterfly pose or a figure 4. I kind of like the windshield wiper myself. And then we're coming all the way back down. Seems like we were just here, but we're coming back down onto the back. Hoo-wee. And then as we start to move into our final shape, we're just going to take advantage of these nice open hips that we have. pressing the soles of the feet together. Let the knees splay out. And then if you're not feeling secure with the legs kind of floating there, if they don't touch the mat, you can put pillows or blocks underneath there. Hands come to the belly, and then just melt down onto the mat. So just finding a nice big in-breath here. And then as you exhale, let everything go. So this pose isn't for everybody, right? Not everybody likes this kind of very open and exposed pose, but I would suggest that take at least 5 breaths here. If after that 5th breath you don't like it, you can extend your legs into a regular Shavasana, a traditional Shavasana. Relaxing your shoulders. Go ahead and forgive your body for limitations that you feel you might have, because they're generally not really a limitation, but just your body letting you know something isn't right. If you prefer to move towards a traditional Shavasana, this is where you would extend your legs long down the mat. Keeping the turnout of the femur here, let the heels come to either corner. Relax the shoulders. Hands come down by your side. There are many ways to create a meditation practice, and it doesn't matter what your method is, as long as the outcome is to clear the chaos from the mind. It's not to empty the mind, because that never actually truly happens, but it's more to hyper focus on one thing. So creating our meditation practice in our prone position, in our Shavasana, laying on our back. We're going to do a body scan today. And as we move through the parts of the body, starting with the soles of the feet, the very bottom of the feet, imagine clearing away any of the negativity, the gunk, the muscle aches, whatever you might have going on. Imagine clearing that away and creating a clean, crisp space behind. So it's like when you walk through your kitchen and you clear off a counter space that you haven't seen in forever, and how it looks so crisp and clean and new. That's what we're doing. So starting with the soles of the feet, bring your awareness to the actual bottoms of your feet and notice any sensations that arise. Now that you're paying attention, perhaps there's an urge to wiggle or a prickly feeling or some tingling. Now with your next breath, I want you to imagine cleaning off that space, just wiping it down, clearing out any of that sensation and leaving nothing behind. Now, same thing, top of the feet. Draw your awareness to any sensations, anything you've got going on there, anything that appears to you. And then with your exhale, let all of that just wipe away. If you're using cloth, just wipe every sensation away, leaving nothing behind. Moving to the lower part of the leg. Tune in with the inhale. Use that in-breath to detect any sensations. And then use the exhale to wipe it all clean. Smooth it away. Moving up the leg with the inhale. Notice the sensations. See what shows up. And then on the exhale, wipe it clear. Keep moving up your body, one part at a time. With the inhale, you're detecting, you're noticing what's going on. And then as you exhale, you're wiping the slate clean. We have plenty of time. Take your time exploring every part of your body as you move from the soles of the feet to the tip of the head. Seeing what's there and then wiping it away. As we begin to finish up with the last of the parts of the body, so right at the tip of the head, maybe the forehead and then the crown of the head, leaving behind a body that's been completely wiped clear of negativity, of residual tenderness. Everything is a fresh slate. So it doesn't matter what came before, because what's coming next has a nice clean surface to start with. Wiggling fingers and toes, maybe gently rocking the head from side to side. When you're ready, moving your way towards one side or the other, perhaps the right side, pausing there. And just enjoy your newfound space of cleanliness, right? It's like a big white box of nothing. Lots of potential. And then using your hands to help you, finding your way up towards your seat. Maybe once again, sitting in the opposite stance and is comfortable. It's only uncomfortable because we don't do it. Now noticing what's going on, how do you feel here? Perhaps taking this sense of renewal through the rest of your day and just wiping your slate clean whenever you need to. Starting fresh. Bringing hands to heart center if you choose. Maybe bowing your head if you like. Thank you for joining me on the mat this morning. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Namaste.